Hello and welcome to another episode of my Wild Knitting podcast. Today I'm going to talk to you about my 2025 knitting plans. So let's dive into the episode. Welcome back. If you've been here before, if you're new, welcome. I hope you'll enjoy this content. My name is Martina. I live in the center of Italy with my partner, and we are renovating our home, finishing our home. I love gardening, foraging, cooking, and my favorite craft is knitting, hence this podcast. I hope you'll enjoy what I want to share and what I've been sharing. And yes, as I said, today I want to share, these are more like knitting intentions rather than strict plans. I said in a few videos ago, I said that I didn't want to make plans and just wanted to roll with it, knit whatever I want to knit. And I still have that kind of philosophy, but in the past weeks I've been thinking about what I actually want to make, what I need to make for gifts and special occasions. And so I was like, okay, let's sit down, write down a list of things that I want to make. And of course, these are not set in stones. It's just, an overview of what I'm going to focus on in the next at least 6 to 9 months. Then we'll see. So I'll show you some work in progress projects that are kind of part of this 2025 knitting plans. And then I'll talk about other projects that I still haven't casted on, but I want to. First of all, I'm going to talk about what I'm wearing because it's a finished object. This podcast episode is not like a proper podcast episode where I show you finished objects and whips and, acquisition and all of that. I'm just going to talk about this one. I finished other things, but I don't have them right here. So I'll just talk about this one. This is a self-drafted jumper that I knitted with a Aranway yarn, worsted Aranway yarn. I used Drops Nepal, which is a wool and alpaca blend, and it's kind of worsted weight. It's like 50 grams and 75 meter-ish. And I held it together with a silk mohair. This is the fabric. Is really, really nice. And I used needle size 5 millimeters, if I'm not mistaken. As I said, it's self-drafted, it's a raglan pattern. And some people ask me, oh, look, there is a end to weaving. I blocked it already and I wove in all the ends, but not the neckline. So some people ask me how I achieved this kind of braid on the raglan, and it's actually really easy. If you get any raglan patterns, so what I've done, I marked the raglan with 2 stitch markers between 2 stitches. You can do it between 4, you can do it between 6. I did it between 2. And then on each side of the 2 stitches, I increased every other round. That's how I achieved the raglan, right? And over these 2 stitches, which are basically permanently marked between these 2 stitch markers, these 2 stitches, I twisted them, right? I did like a braid over these 2 stitches every other round. Okay, so that's how I achieved this very simple braid. Okay, that's how I've done it. And then I did a little detail here on the side. It fits really well. It has a little bit of waist shaping here, and so it kind of goes down naturally. And I did this split M situation at the back is longer and the front is shorter, and I did this broken rib at the bottom hem, on the sleeve cuff, and on the neckline. That's it. It's self-drafted, but there are plenty raglan patterns that you can modify as you like. The modifications I've done on a basic raglan pattern were, you know, these stitches here, this detail, I achieved it by continuing or splitting the, how do you say, these raglan stitches here. I continued doing that, and in between I did moss stitching. I don't know how to explain how I done that, but it wasn't difficult. Let's move on. I know at some point when my life and my brain will feel more calm and peaceful and balanced, maybe I can start writing down some patterns. But for now, I'm rolling. Okay, let's move on. And let me talk about, the plans. So the first project in my 2025 list of knitting patterns or projects was the loom pullover by Sari Nordlund. Now I'm using very smaller circular needles, so it's all crunched up, can you say that, on the cables, but this is the loom pullover by Sari Nordlund, and as you can see I slightly modified it. It's a colorwork yoked top-down pattern, and it's really beautiful. I knitted it in the past and I absolutely love that garment that I made. And this time I decided to stick it. And for those who don't know what sticking means, is basically cut it open. Once you finish the body, you can cut it open and make a cardigan out of a colorwork jumper. What I've done was to cast on 7 more stitches. They are basically going to mark the center of the garment and are going to be the stitches, not all of them, but like the middle one is going to be the one that is going to be cut open. Does that make sense? Am I being clear or not? So basically, this line here in the center is going to be cut open, and the stitches on the side are going to be reinforced with the a crochet hook or a sewing machine. I think I'm going to do both because I want those stitches to be really hanging there and not splitting up. I know sticking is scary. Cutting open a sweater is scary. I kind of postponed that until basically this year when I cut open a jumper. You can see it in my previous video. And I was really scared, but I was like, I'm gonna do it. I want to transform this jumper into a cardigan, and it was the best decision. I really recommend it. If you've been a bit afraid of sticking, trust me, it's not that difficult. And the way I've done this, let me tell you. So the pattern says to cast on an amount of stitches, right? And then knit the collar. And so joining the round and knit the collar. But what I've done was to cast on that amount of stitches for my size, and then instead of joining in the round, I knit the collar flat, right? The neckline flat. And then when I wanted to start the collar work or start the jumper, I cast it on 7 stitches. The 7 stitches that are going to, be the sticking marking stitches, and then I joined in the round. I knit 1 round, and then I started the collar work. And I marked those 7 stitches with 2 stitch markers, so I know those are the stitches that are not basically in the pattern. And then I just at the beginning of the round, after the first 7 stitches. So I kind of follow the chart or the pattern after the first 7 stitches. Does that make sense? That's my beginning of the round. I hope it makes sense. So it's my second time, it's going to be my second time sticking this. So I'm not a pro in sticking garments, but I don't think it's that difficult, right? And I'm gonna knit more colorwork jumpers and I'm gonna stick them. That's one of the plans for this year. This is going to be the first one and I want to finish it within these next 2 months. And this is part of a knit along that I am not hosting because I'm not the hoster. I'm participating in. It's my group, the Wild Allies. We're a wonderful knitting community and friends, and we are doing this knit along, the loom pullover knit along. I hope one day we can all meet and wear these jumpers or cardigans. And there is another this friend, Melissa, and she already sticked it. So it's me and Melissa who are transforming this pattern into a cardigan, right? So this is my version. I'm almost done with the color work. I skipped, as I did in the previous version of my loom pullover, I skipped one part of the chart and I knitted instead of the second flower. I don't know if you have the loom pullover color work in mind, but basically I skipped the next flower after this one and I decided to knit another row of this leaf motif after this flower. That's a little modification I decided to do, and then I'll knit 2 more rows of normal, main color, and then I'll divide for sleeves. That's the plan. The yarn I'm using, again, I just mentioned it, is Drops Nepal. It's the same yarn I used for this jumper. On this jumper I held it together with a silk mohair, but this time I'm just using Drops Nepal in these 2 colors. I don't remember the colors, but this is like a cream white and this is kind of like clay color. I like these 2 together, and I actually was thinking, here I have it, to knit it in these 2 colors because I like them more than these 2. But I didn't have enough in my stash and I didn't want to buy more. This is a wonderful yarn, and I'm going to talk about something that I'm going to knit with it later. It's the Viking Garn Viking Wool. It's amazing, it's super soft, and I absolutely love this color. Look at the depth. Color number 553. It's a yarn from Norway. Love it. I wish I did it in this yarn, but I don't. I like this one too. It's not that, I dislike it. I really like this version as well. I think it fits me nicely and is nice, but yeah, that's what I wanted to say. And I'm keeping everything in this big bag. Okay, that's the first kind of plan of 2025. I want to finish it, and yeah, I want to cast on more colorwork sweaters and transform them into cardigans because that's what I need in my wardrobe. I feel that cardigans are a lot more versatile for me than jumpers or sweaters. Okay, let's move on with the second pattern or garment that I want to knit before the end. I want to finish it before the end of March, and this is the only project that I absolutely want to finish and have completed by the end of March. All the rest that I'm going to talk about are very flexible and might change, but this one needs to be finished, needs to be done. And it's a jumper that I want to knit for my sister. She's going to turn 30, and I wanted to knit this jumper long ago, a year ago, I think. My sister was like, I really like this pattern, and we bought the yarn, we chose the color, but I never got around to make it. And she actually, it was good because she changed the colors that she wanted it knitted with. And so we finally got the yarn. I got the yarn, she chose it. Let me show you. This is the yarn. I'll show it to you. And these are colors that I normally won't knit with, but I'm really glad I have the opportunity to knit with these colors together, because yeah, it's going to be fun. So with these colors, very spring-like colors, I'm gonna knit the Chroma Pullover by Jacqueline Chislak. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing her surname correctly, but it's a beautiful, colorful sweater. I think it's knitted bottom up, it's drop shoulder, and it has 2 little pockets. You can choose. My sister, I think, wants only 1 pocket, and it's kind of like blocks of colors. It's not intarsia, it's just like blocks of colors, right? I'll see if I can put a picture on the screen so you understand. And she chose Drops Lima. I know, more Drops yarns. They're cheap, and this is nice actually. I've knitted something with this yarn in the past and I really like it. It's very similar to Drops Nepal, but this is DK weight. So these are the colors that she chose. These 2 for the body, it's gonna be like this, and then this one for one arm. This is like a light blue jeans, and then this one for the other arm, and then maybe this for the neckline. This is like a baby pink. Well, these are the colors. And I think they're really nice all together. These are not really my colors, and not even her colors, but she really likes them, so we're gonna roll with them. And yeah, it's gonna be super fun. I really want to cast it on and get, you know, busy with that. I really want to make a beautiful sweater for her. In the past, I mean, also for this Christmas, I always gifted her like socks and hats and some jumpers, but jumpers that I knitted for myself. I never really intentionally knitted a full jumper for her. I always knitted like accessories, and she used them so much. All the socks that I made her, all the hats, she has been loving them hard. She uses them a lot. And I would love to make her this sweater. I'm just a little bit afraid that it won't fit her or it won't be perfect. But I'm gonna release that fear and just, you know, try my best. So that's basically the only project that I really want to knit. The rest I'm just gonna roll and see if I'll make them or not. Also the loom pullover, I would like to finish it, but that's already on my needle, so it doesn't kind of count. So yes, that's the pattern that I really want to knit. Then a few days ago, maybe a week ago, I went into my wardrobe and I was like, okay, what is that I actually need or would like more of? And I figured that I really would like to have more skirts and pants for this year. In the past, I knitted 3 skirts, and there's one that I've been using all the time, especially at the end of summer, autumn, and this winter. And It's a super simple skirt. I knitted it like short, so above the knees, kind of length, maybe 10 centimeters above the knees. So it's kind of like a mini skirt. And I knitted it with 100% silk yarn in a chocolate brown color. And the nice thing about skirts is that you can knit them with any yarn, but even like a plant-based yarn, and you can use them in the winter as well. I've been using them in the winter as well, and they are perfect. You can use them all year round if you knit them with a plant-based fiber or like a silk yarn, or maybe even merino and silk blend, I guess. So I want to knit more skirts, and there is one, now I don't remember, I think it's called the Velna skirt. I need to check my phone. But there is one pattern that I really would like to make, is this one. Okay, it's the Velna skirt by Milena Juola. And it's a super simple skirt with this kind of split hem. And there's so many fun versions with also like different like scrap yarns. It's really, really nice. There is also the skirt number 1 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. That is quite similar, but at a bigger gauge, I think. So I'm gonna knit more skirts. By the way, the skirt that I knitted in the past that I really like and I wear all the time is the Marie skirt by Anna Anderson. And she gives you different options, but it's knitted with a broken rib stitch, right? And I knitted it short, but you can knit it also longer with a split hem on the back, or just skip that. And yeah, it's really beautiful. So I might knit that again. And I already cast it on following the Marie skirt, but I was thinking to just knit stockinette instead of the broken rib. And I'm using this yarn, a black yarn, which is really unusual. I never almost knit with black. I think I knitted maybe 2 hats in black, and I started this pattern. I actually almost finished this Koran cardigan in this yarn, the Boumullin by Drops Design, and it's a cotton and linen blend in this. It's really like pitch black. It doesn't really have much dimension, so I'm not sure I really love it, but I love this yarn. This linen and cotton blend is wonderful. And I basically frogged that cardigan because I cast it on more than 1.5 years ago and I didn't finish it. So I frogged that, and I'm using the yarn for making the skirt. And I just started it. This is the kind of folded waistband. You knit it and then you fold it and you thread an elastic band in the middle of the waistband, and then you just go with the pattern. And I really love it, but knitting with this black yarn, it's a little bit of a challenge because I mostly knit in the evenings, and I could cast on this. I mean, I could have cast it on anyway, but I decided to cast it on now because I received a very special product. This one. Now, it's not sponsored. They just sent it to me and I'm loving it. I've been using it for the past week and it's just super fun. So this is the brand Lumus and Lumus, and it's a knitting light. Let me show you the packaging because it's really cool, nice. It's a knitting light, Lumus knitting light, and it has 4 different lights. There are these little switches on each of the arms, and it's really bendable, so you can bend it as you like. I've been using this for reading in bed as well when Mike is like long gone asleep and he doesn't like to have the lamp on, so I have this and I can read under the covers with my knitting light. I really love it, but But also I love to knit on this while we maybe watch a movie, and it's, you know, we turn off the lights and then I just have this light on. Let me switch it on. So yeah, you can switch on, you can change also the warmth of the light. It's perfect for knitting on like a dark or a black yarn project. You say that. So I highly recommend it. Now I haven't been using it for like years or months. I've just been using it for a week, but I really, really, really like it. And you can charge it with a USB-C, I think it's called, cable that they provide. It's inside the little package. And they wrote one of my favorite quotes by Albus Dumbledore: "Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light." Love that. And Lumus is basically a spell to create light, also known as the wand lighting charm. So let's turn on our lights in these dark times. Yeah, I like it, and if you want to check it out, I'll leave all the links in the description box, and they gave us a discount code that is valid for a week from when I post this video, so you better run if you want to run to check it out. And the discount code is Martina with capital M. I'll leave it in the description box, and you can get 25% off, which is not bad at all. So yes, so far I like it a lot. So more skirts, right? I want to knit more skirts. I love skirts. They fit me well. For some reason, knitted skirts fit me like a glove. I love them. And one of the skirts that I'm gonna knit them with this yarn. I already got it. It's the Vikingarm Bambino. And it's a cotton and bamboo blend. I actually heard of this yarn from Inga, the wonderful podcaster behind Knitting Traditions, and she makes stunning garments and accessories, and she said that this yarn is basically her favorite. For what I recall, her favorite plant-based yarn, and it's 50% bamboo and 50% cotton. And I chose this beautiful kind of rust color 452. So I'm gonna knit a skirt with it, but I think I'm gonna hold it double. I want kind of like a thicker skirt, not thicker, but like, yeah, DK weight. This is 50 grams and 176 meters. And holding it double will make a beautiful DK weight fabric. So that's the plan. So that's a plan. Then I want to finish some of my whips. I actually don't have many whips because I frogged a lot of the lingering projects that I had around, the ones that I didn't finish. But I have 2 whips that I absolutely want to finish this year. One is it's a self-drafted kind of brioche cardigan that I'm knitting with different colors of silk mohair held together with this alpaca beige brown yarn. You can see it in previous episodes. I really like that project, but it's taking some time and I kind of took a break from it. I want to finish that. And then I have a vest, the diamond twill vest that I'm knitting for Mike. So I want to finish that. We'll see when, but that's also in the plans. Then, oh, let me show you this. It's also something that I want to finish, but it's, you know, I'm kind of already working on it. This is a jumper that I self-drafted. It's actually a cardigan, not a jumper, that I self-drafted with this brush alpaca yarn, and I'm holding it together. And I'm doing a little bit of color work. It's fun, it's stripy, it's colorful, and it's really light and fluffy. So I'm gonna also work on this and kind of finish it, hopefully this, you know, end of winter. And then the project that I want to knit is from this beautiful book, Memory Lane. Beautiful, beautiful book. This is called Memory Lane Embellished Knits to Cherish by Claudia Quintanilla. So many beautiful, elegant patterns. This is the project that I'm gonna knit. I already have the yarn, and it's exactly the yarn that is shown, or the colors that are shown of this sample. This is the Aureliano, and it's a colorful it's a color work, all over color work sweater. Let me see if there's another picture. Here it is. All over color work sweater, and it uses silk mohair, so laceway yarn held double, and the gauge is let me see what they rate. For the gauge is 26 stitches and 29 rounds, and the needle size recommended is 3.5. So 2 strands of yarns are held together, and it's knitted top down. That's another beautiful, beautiful, beautiful design and pattern that I want to knit this year. It's probably going to be a fall winter project, so I'm gonna cast it on in the fall maybe, because now we're going towards spring and then summer, and so it's still completely winter here. But for me, end of February, beginning of March, I start to get this kind of summer knits mojo. But yes, that's a pattern that I'm definitely going to knit at some point in 2025. And then there's one more thing, even though, yeah, let me talk about it. So a friend of mine, Aida, the Athenian maker, I talked about her yarns in the past. We did a swap in December, kind of like an advent swap, where we sent each other 1 or 2 skeins, and I sent her some, and she sent me this. This is 70% bamboo and 30% linen. And I used this yarn before. It's a fingering way yarn, and it's a dream. I love this yarn so much, Aida. It's beautiful. And she sent this to me to kind of, you see, it's mordanted and fixed. And she said, because I was kind of complaining, oh my God, I have too much yarn in my stash. And she was like, I'm gonna send you something that you can actually work, you can kind of work with, maybe dye it. So it's going to be like a fun project. So she sent it to me undyed, but I absolutely love this color. It's gorgeous. And so I'm not gonna dye it, and I'm planning to make something really special, a wedding shawl with this. It's going to be like a massive lacy wedding shawl. I still haven't decided the pattern that I'm gonna follow or that I will self-draft, but this is the yarn that I'm gonna use, and I'm really excited to have it. Me and Mike are still deciding whether to marry in spring or wait another year, because now we don't have that rush for bureaucratic reason. Yeah, this is going to be the yarn for the wedding shawl. We'll see if I'll cast it on for this year's wedding or next year, but it's still, that's the plan for this yarn. And then last but not least, projects that I'm having on my needles, and I'm going to have on my needles all the summer long, I believe, are ribbed tops. You know what I'm talking about. Yes, it's the ripple bralette. But actually I'm going to modify it, and it's going to be like slightly different, but I already started it, and I'm gonna knit many of these. So I started it, and I'm already kind of finishing the body, and I'm using a merino yarn, fingering weight. I use ripple bralettes all the time, and I want to have more. So I know I'm boring, but that's what we're gonna do. And then with this gorgeous yarn, I think I'm gonna knit another ranunculus or a ripple bralette. This is a beautiful yarn. It's the Lash Lino, the fingering weight Lash Lino by Cozy Posy Yarn Co. Antonella. Look at the depth of this color, and look how beautiful it looks with this. These are complementary colors, this goldenrod yellow, but this is absolutely gorgeous, and his fingering weight, I don't remember, I think I have the label, I think it's in my stash, but I think it's maybe 300 meters, 400 grams, I'm not sure, but I'm thinking to knit a ranunculus, like with a very open gauge, maybe using needle size 6 millimeters or something, so really like open, flowy ranunculus, because I use them a lot, the ranunculus that I've made, and I think it's time for me to cast on another one at some point. But yes, or a ripple bralette, and in that case I will maybe knit it really cropped, really like a bra, and hold it double, but I think it's going to be a ranunculus. So yes, these are my plans for 2025. I don't know, I talked a lot, but I feel that I don't have many plans. I want to knit these 2 jumpers, the jumper for my sister, and finish the cardigan, the loom pullover, and then I want to knit more skirts and ripple bralette and maybe the wedding shawl and the Aureliano jumper, but that's it. I don't have tons of, plans. These are the projects that I really get excited to even think about, but I'm sure there will be more. Or even less, who knows? Depends on my mojo. And I want to knit more socks, but we'll see if I'll have enough sock mojo. Let me know what your plans are for this 2025. If you have any, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, or comment, subscribe, the usual thing. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very soon.